Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Home Run Betting Challenge, or as I like to call it, the Dong Report, where I give out my favorite home run picks for the day. Minimum of 5, maximum of 10. And I got to say, we had been insanely hot on these picks. I had a stretch where I had been profitable in 5 straight days with these home run picks. But unfortunately, the past 2 days have not gone well. Yesterday, I gave out 6 picks. None of those players hit a home run. 2 days ago, I gave out 6 picks. 1 player refunded because he didn't play at all. The other 5 did not hit a home run. So that is in the past 2 days. We are down $11. Obviously, that's not fun, but luckily we had built up a decent amount of profits. So we are able to withstand that because my total profits on these MLB home run bets is $18.55. And I gotta say, for today's slate, absolutely love the picks that we have. I have 9 total, that's right, 9 total MLB home run picks for you guys today. If we get all 9 to cash, which if we're being honest is probably the most likely scenario, we will profit $43. Now, if you put all 9 of those into a parlay, you'll have enough money to buy a small island if all 9 cash. Before I get into the picks, a couple housekeeping items. Number 1, while you're here, appreciate it if you could like the video, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can find me on Twitter at my Twitter handle, Jedi Modi. Number 2, I have recently launched a membership of my YouTube channel as well. So if you want to become a Jedi in training, I have 2 different membership tiers, one for $1, one for $5. And the perks are listed in the description of the video. It's literally the very first link if you're interested. And if you have any questions, please, of course, let me know. But that's enough BS. Let's get into these home run picks. So play number 1 in the Blue Jays versus Mets game, we are taking Dalton Varsho to hit a home run plus 700 odds at FanDuel. Now, a couple things. Number 1, every single pick I'm going to have is going to be on FanDuel. They have the best odds for all of these home run picks. So if you're looking to lock these in, go ahead and sign in to FanDuel. Number 2, I'm going to have 2 plays total in this game. Now, first off, we are backing the young catcher for the Blue Jays in Dalton Varsho. He's a pretty good player. He hits for a decent amount of power. He doesn't really hit for average, so don't look at that for any success, but he does have decent pop to his game. Now, pitching for the Mets is Justin Verlander, who isn't quite as scary as you're used to hearing when you hear his name. He hasn't gotten himself together yet this year. He's got a 4.80 ERA on the year, and he's given up 5 home runs so far. And keep in mind, that's after giving up only 12 home runs all of last year in 175 innings pitched. He's already given up almost half of that so far this year. Even his last start, if you want to say, oh, he just started off slow, he's going to get it together. His last start was his worst one against the Rockies, where he gave up 6 earned runs in 5 innings pitched. So it's not as though he's been getting himself together. As for Varsho, he's got 8 dongs on the year. He's hit 2 in his last 10 games. But for today, look for him to get his 9th of the year. Next up, in the same game as I mentioned, we are going with Matt Chapman to hit a home run. That is at plus 440 odds, again, at FanDuel, along with every other pick. So another Blue Jays player who we are going to back for today's Dong Report. Obviously, he will also be going up against Justin Verlander, so everything I said previously still applies here. This time going with Chapman, who is having a pretty good year. He hit a dong last night, and he's also, along with Varsho, has 8 on the year, soon to be 9 after tonight. Chapman also has gone against Verlander in his career. In 20 at-bats, he does have 1 home run. He doesn't have a lot of success, but he at least has that home run. And clearly Verlander is still working himself into shape so far this year. So 2 players for the Blue Jays. If one of them hits a home run, we're squarely in the profit for this game. Next up, in the Guardians versus Twins game, we are taking Jorge Polanco to hit a home run, and that is at plus 480 odds, obviously, on FanDuel. Now, I will admit, this game is a little scary when you look at the 2 pitchers on the mound. For the Guardians, who Polanco is going to be going up against, Aaron Savale is pitching. Now, if you just look at his ERA and his raw stats, it looks a little bit scary. He's given up he only has a 2.84 ERA, and he hasn't given up a home run yet. He's also only pitched 12 and 2/3 innings so far this year. He's made 2 starts. And he also really hasn't been that great in his career. Now, he's a young player. Obviously, he could be putting it together, but he doesn't have a ton of history of success. So it's possible that this is just an unsustainable start that he won't be able to keep up. Now, as for Polanco, he had recently missed 2 weeks due to injury and had his first game back yesterday. Prior to the injury, he had been playing well, hitting a dong in 2 of his last 4 games before the injury. So we're hoping that he can recapture the magic and go yard for us tonight as our 3rd pick. Next up, in the Cubs versus Padres game, we are taking Dansby Swanson to hit a home run. That will be at plus 560 odds, obviously, at FanDuel. Now, a couple things before we start. Number one, I'm going to have a 3 picks total. I'm going to have a lot of picks for this game. I didn't specifically target it. I just pick my bets based on the EV page and what the value tells me, and the EV page loved this game. So make sure to giddy up there. But first up, we're going with Dansby Swanson, player for the Cubs, shortstop. He will be going up against Michael Wacha, who is pitching for the Padres. Now, Wacha's been around forever, and after years and years of struggling, he seems to have put it together. He had a good year last year. He started off hot so far this year. He's only given up 5 home runs in 57 innings pitched. Swanson himself is a former first overall pick for the Braves, who is a really good fielder, but hasn't really put it together at the plate. He's having a decent year this year. He has a hit in 8 of his last 10 games, which is pretty good. He last hit a home run on May 25th, which was my birthday. No big deal. So let's hope he can cash for us tonight. And at plus 560 odds, that's pretty juicy. Next up, obviously in the same game, Cubs versus Padres, we are taking Juan Soto to hit a home run at plus 470 odds at FanDuel. Now, for the Padres hitters, they will be going up against Jameson Taillon, who is pitching for the Cubs. And that is definitely a pitcher that you want your batters to go up against. No disrespect, Taillon is having a terrible year. He's got an astounding 8.04 ERA, and he has given up the same amount of home runs as Michael Wacha, which is 5, in 26 fewer innings pitched. That's really not good. As for Soto, obviously he's a complete stud. He really hasn't put it together yet this year, though. He's not having a great year at the plate. He does have 10 home runs, which isn't terrible, but he only has 2 in his last 10 games, so not a ton of recent success. But if there's ever a time for him to get it together, it is against this pitcher. So Juan Soto is our next pick for the Cubs-Padres game. And then last pick for this game, sticking with the Cubs versus Padres, is Matt Carpenter. That is at plus 600 odds. So again, pretty juicy odds there. Now, Matt Carpenter, he has been around forever. And I'll be honest, he really isn't having a great year at all at the plate. Not having a great year is putting it mildly, to be honest. He's batting 184. He's at .184 batting average. And he's only got 4 dongs on the year. That part's not great. The good part, though, is that he does have some pretty good success against Taillon. He's gone up against him 24 times in his career, and he's batting .292 in those 24 at-bats with 1 home run in there as well. So if there is ever at least one game for Carpenter to get it together, it would be this game. And at plus 600 odds, the value's there. It's pretty juicy. So that's our last pick in the Cubs versus Padres game. We got 3 more picks for you guys. Next up, in the Cardinals versus Pirates game, we are taking Nolan Gorman to hit a home run plus 370 odds, obviously, at FanDuel. Now, just a side note, this game features the number 1 and number 2 most often year fee teams in the MLB in the Cardinals versus Pirates. So you're going to want to bet yes run first inning in this game. As for our dong pick, as I mentioned, we're going with Nolan Gorman. Now, he is a young second baseman for the Cardinals. Obviously, he hasn't been around a while. He's only 23 years old, so no disrespect if you had not heard of him prior to this. But he's having an awesome year. So recently, he's hit a little bit of a cold streak. He's still having an awesome year overall, but recently, as I mentioned, a little bit of a cold spell. But he's still having a good year overall. He's batting .272 with 13 home runs, and that's after not hitting a home run in 9 straight games. Obviously, that'll change today. The Pirates are throwing out Roansy Contreras on the mound, who Gorman has only gone up against 4 times. He's got 4 at-bats against him, but he's got 2 hits and an RBI in those 4 at-bats, so batting .500. We'll take that. That's pretty good. So going with Nolan Gorman here Next up, our second to last pick of the evening in the Phillies versus Nationals game. We are taking Kyle Schwarber to hit a home run plus 250 odds at FanDuel. Now, I'll be honest, it feels gross backing a Phillies hitter at this point. The team has just been brutal. They really can't get it together, and they are just coming off of getting swept by the Mets. In that 3-game series against the Mets, Schwarber went 0 for 10. So not as though he has been raking recently, but Schwarber, even with all his struggles this year, still hits for a ton of power. He's got 13 home runs on the year, so that's not terrible by any means. I will say the Nats' best pitcher is on the mound for today in Josiah Gray, so of course there is some risk here outside of just the Phillies struggling. But we all know that Schwarber owns June. We are in fact in June, so if he was ever going to get it together, this would be the month to do it. Have to start early to have a hot June. So we'll see if Schwarber can cash this for us. He has cashed for us in the past. And last pick of the evening in the Yankees versus Dodgers game, we are going with Max Muncy to hit a home run plus 430 odds. Now, Max Muncy's our guy. We've gone with him a couple times, and he has had a lot of success for us. I think I've gone with him 3, 1 play lost, 1 play hit, 1 play refunded. So he's pretty much hit the cycle in terms of what we can do with him in these home run props. He's also got an absurd 17 home runs on the year, and he just went back-to-back a couple days ago in May 27th and May 28th, so he has recent success. He's got season-long success. Obviously, a little bit scary here with Severino on the mound, who has been on fire in his early start to the year. He's only pitched 11 innings, but he's only given up 1 home run in those 11 innings, but still early in the year, so we'll see what can happen in Muncy. Obviously hits for a ton of power, so we like for him to cash this for us tonight. And that's all I got. So 9 home run picks for you guys. If you're tailing any and all of these, comment and let me know. If there's a player that you like to hit a home run that I missed, comment and let me know as well. Other than that, remember the housekeeping items. Like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit me up at my Twitter handle, Jedi Modi, and become a Jedi in Training member using the first link in the description. If you have any questions, just comment and let me know. Other than that, as always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and have a good one.